Alistar facing us down. The potential to lock down Azir and Varus, just too juicy to pass up.
Yeah, as you're highlighting, right, it's a pretty big counter to have the Alistar.
Crash down from YCX, and that's just why you value this Alistar so highly. Nice shuffle, lands on a Hongq, doesn't quite find the stun, but the poke damage is there from Hong. Tangyuan flashes forward, Hongq builds up the shield, flashes away, and picks up first blood. Hong is finally able to finish the job, but what a play.
JDG, they've been perfectly good at it. No real complete control over objectives, not really losing too much control.
They managed to escape with the flash. That's some summoners down, but they still have a cow for this upcoming dragon fight.
Yeah, but without that ulti, he's going to be a heck of a lot less tanky. Really not going to be able to step up anywhere near as far. Still, they're going to go for it. Teleports coming in from both of the top laners.
Junja flashes away from that seismic shove. Teleport in from Sasa. Dragon already falls down, but the engage comes through on a Xiaoya. And Hongq will claim the kill. YCX about to join him as well. But they do manage to trade back on towards Vampire and Junja. It's going to be another kill coming through for him, but Sasa able to fall back underneath the turret. Shu with the fully stacked up passive going to be able to back himself away in time.
Yeah, Cultivation of War was just coming straight on through for him right there. But the Grim Deliverance was massive, flashing over the wall. It looks like they're still going to go for this. Shove back. Yeah, Tangyuan should just be dead.
Shuffled in, and there is a pickup for Xiaoshu. But we traded one for
Isn't
one.
Enough damage available either. And because you've got a top laner running, hang on, Sasa.
Oh, getting engaged on again, but flicked back away. Tangyuan creates the space, and Hong picks up the kill. Nicely done by the LGD squad to turn that play back around.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure what had happened there to get Xiaoshu involved in a 3v1 situation, and he is going to go down for it. Over on the other side of the map, Hongq going to be able to take down this top lane at tier 1 tower, and the game, after being pretty quiet for the first couple of minutes, explodes right here. 5 kills apiece right now. Gold still very even as well. Now, with the Rift Herald up and available, looking like it's going to be started by JDG, Gala might pay the price, just about going to be able to limp away.
Gala pushed underneath that turret at half HP, and the Rift Herald is up and available. I mean, dangerous territory for old Gala here. Does have access to the flash. Tangyuan going to be able to pick up first turret here as well. Some more things going up the way of LGD, even though they've already lost their chance at being able to get the feats of warfare. Now, moving over towards this side, YCX and Sasa trying to find a way into the pit. Is that Rift Herald still at full HP and still ripe for the taking?
And critically right now, Xiaoshu down on the bottom side of the map and does not have the teleport to get involved, whereas Tangyuan was able to match him and still has the ulti to get to his team.
Flash engage from YCX. Junja locked on down. Here comes Tangyuan with the Weaver's Wall. Gala going to be forced to flash away. The only death so far is YCX. Hongq was able to melt him down, and LGD can't find a way to keep the fight going. They lose out 1-0.
As much as LGD did have that Weaver's Wall available to them for the quick Tangyuan rotation, they just weren't able to get him involved quickly enough, and JDG snap pull the trigger and get themselves that kill. Is it going to be enough to actually grab the Dre? Because Junja just going to have to jump away, is able to leave the clone behind. And whilst all of this is happening, Xiaoshu picks himself up another tower. That's going to be 2 towers already.
For nothing else.
And let's see if it's going to happen once again, though, as JDG start themselves up the Herald. LGD moving forwards, not quite going to be able to find that seismic shove. This is going to be a full 5v5 brawl, potentially.
Xiaoshu just walks right through, gets over there. Hong throws out the Supreme Display of Talent. They do get the lockdown on it too. Bullet time out of Xiaoya. Takes out Xiaoshu and Hongq. And while JDG were able to snag themselves the Herald, they can't get the LGD. Do funnel their way in. I mean, he's spotting them. He did see YCX going to that bush. It's not going to stop him from face checking, though. Hong goes in. Unbreakable Will going to keep Vampire up for a little while, but if they just dump enough damage into him, eventually they'll get the job done. Xiaoshu, though, big ultimate, going to be able to pick up an execution onto Hong and step forward with the fully stacked up Cultivation of War. Xiaoshu and Gala cut through LGD like butter, and a quick 3 kills for Vampire.
Oh, as much as it was a nice quick little pick right there onto Vampire from LGD, it isn't that fast because you've got that Unbreakable Will popped and you're dumping every bit of damage into the support. That's a very nice situation to put JDG into, and they turn that one straight back around.
Hongq face checks isn't Tangyuan, but Tangyuan Yuan doesn't land the seismic shove. Now he's getting cut off from the rest of his team, already low on HP. Vampire locks him down, and Hong Q will find the kill. Tang Yuan already out of the play, but here comes Sasa onto the back line in a 1 versus 4 for the time being, trying to buy time for the rest of his team. Xiaoya and Hong trying to pick off Gala, but he flashes back over the wall to be able to escape. YCX too low on HP, has to bail on his top laner. Sasa just getting poked lower and lower and lower until eventually JDG will find their man. They get both solo laners in the engage.
And that's just some bad mispositioning right there from LGD. Tang Yuan, he thinks that he can solo out Hong Q, and sure, if he hits that seismic shove, he probably can, but missing it doomed him, and it doomed the rest of the team, as already at that point Sasa had popped the ulti, was sprinting on down towards the bottom side of the map, and there was nothing he could do other than to try to buy time. LGD, they don't even manage to find the pick on Gala on the backside of that fight, and it is going to result in the Atakan going on over. This game's been very close up until this point, but this is now a big gold swing in their favor.
Really is here. The knockup found onto YCX right after
to find him that backline access. Still, it doesn't seem like LGD are cowed in any way. They're going to start up this Drake. This will be soul point if they can grab it.
Sasa up on the front line. Vampire going to look for the engage. Goes through the rocks, though. Finds himself locked down in pretty quick order. The Chains of Corruption doing a lot to create the space, though. Hong Q throws himself in. Gets only YCX. And now the bullet time laid down right on top of him. Hong Q with nowhere to go. About to lose his life to Sasa's damage. And will get the mid laner. But Jala going to be able to get the trade right back. Xiaoshu still at a high enough health total. And at the end of the day, JDG with more members, even though Hong Q fell.
Yeah, I mean, Hong Q, he was just the one sacrifice for what was overall a pretty good fight from JDG once again. As much as it didn't result in as many kills as they were looking at previously, they managed to bring the Drake
with nothing. So ultimates exchanged between Vampire and Hong,
YCX.
although there will be a flick back found up on the top side. Meanwhile, engaged onto Xiaoya. Gala going to be able to finish him off. And again, on fights on two fronts, it's JDG that are the only ones to find a kill. They move right onto the Baron.
YCX flashes forwards, Magnet storms his way in, and tries to get that play started, but they just don't have the follow-up damage. There's too much long-range damage coming through from JDG. LGD, though, they're not going to allow this Baron to go without a fight, bringing all the members in, teleports being blown from both teams.
Hong with the flash and with the smite has a possibility to be able to steal here, but there's another engage found by Xiaoshu, pulls back in two, and will clean up one. Into the middle of the fray goes Sasa, just trying to threaten Junja here, knowing the jungler's low on health. An attempted steal will not be found. Junja gonna be able to secure the Baron, and now Hong left up way too far with no paddle. Xiaoshu and Vampire trying to chase him down. Gala will finish off Sasa on the opposite side, and JDG secure themselves another objective.
It was back and forth. It was messy. 14 minutes into this game, it felt like LGD had themselves a chance, but things turning around all of a sudden. Xiaoya actually should be able to turn this one back. The Golden may save Hong Q in this situation. One more auto. Nope. Both players are going to walk away and survive. The tower not going to be so lucky, and the sun down through. Really nice right there from Gala, landing those Chains of Corruption. And yeah, as much as you've already self-CC'd with the bullet time, just stepping out of it, going to be able to fully pull that one through. And at that point, you've kind of ruined the play that you were otherwise trying to set up right here. Still, I thought this was going to be a steal. I really did. This looked like Hong was set up perfectly to take this Baron away.
Yeah, I mean, really good play by Sasa here. Heads up, noticing Junja's health bar and forcing him out, but a flash smite, perfectly timed by Junja, will secure the Baron for the squad and silence any attempt at a turnaround comeback here. But here's another fight attempt. Sasa charging forward, only going to slow down Vampire. Knock back into the fray, tries to flash away, but he's just getting hammered by three members of JDG, and Hong Q gonna make it 4 one-shots Xiaoya with the Shurima shuffle, and Tang Yuan will not last long in the face of Gala either. JDG wipe 3 off the map. Hong still hasn't respawned from the last fight, and JDG are going to look to just slam the door shut and take game number 1.
It's a massive fight right here from JDG, punishing the LGD mistakes. Desperation plays will not work out, and JDG move themselves one step closer to the Demacia Cup fight. A pretty fun composition out of LGD. I think they have kind of rounded it back up in a way that I'm pretty excited for. Still though, JDG, that is a JDG composition through and through, and they've been given exactly as we were hoping to see right here. Just keep being aggressive, keep going forwards. Talking of aggressive, holy.
Oh, jumping right in onto Gala. Gala gonna have to
dead.
flash away, but Xiaoya's still on top of him, and first blood secured for Xiaoya and YCX. Eyes on a potential
There goes.
move onto Gala. Realm Warp being channeled. Gala already stuck up too far, and there's
dead.
4 versus 2 in the lane for LGD. In an instant, Gala's down a second time. Xiaoya's 2-0. Sasa will get himself out of danger while the dragon's secured.
This is a much, much better early game right here from LGD. This contest, right?
Yeah,
no, he's
LGD
gonna go.
Should be able to secure this one.
Wow.
No, gonna bail out on it. Instead, they go for a play on a vampire, but knockup's abound for Junja. Xiaoya stuck in the middle, does get himself into the bailout, but will be finished off before a kill is secured. Hong forced to flash out on the retreat. Hongq uses his last bit of mana for another Flash Frost on a YCX. A couple of times per game, so it can't be consistent, but see if that changes how these plays are going to make over the next couple of moments as LGD look to secure themselves this Dragon. Realm Warp out to safety. Hong left out to dry. Does manage to secure the Dragon on his way to Death's Door, though. He's going to get some solo plating for this, but of course 4 members work through a turret faster than 1. YCX trying to step up here, managing to dance around Hongq's abilities. Hongq going to get pulled back in, but Hong doesn't pull the trigger and will not keep that Onivia locked down. They didn't think they could finish him off in
Multiple
time.
members, so it makes a lot of sense to just back off in that situation. Tankyuan was hovering around. Now they're going to go for a play onto Gala, get stunned up, and he just dead. Holy.
One shot there. Tang Yuan and Hong join forces and blow that Aphelios up. A 0-3 start for Gala. You said he wasn't allowed to stay deathless, Bloxer, and they are certainly following through on that goal.
Oh yeah, if you want to win this game as LGD, you've got to shut down Gala. And so far, looking so that might not be a very secure place in a second.
Uh-oh, Hong. He did just see his red buff get knocked up, and now he's going to join it. Does throw up the shield to stay alive for a short bit of time. Gets a little bit of health back off of Sundered Sky, but he will be executed.
My lord, the Fate's Call just about going to be used right there to keep YCX alive. Oh, we talk often, right, about a defensive Realm Warp out of a Rise. Well, how often do you see the defensive everything being blown?
At least on behalf of Hong, and Tang Yuan might walk right into Xiaoshu here. Let's see just how beefy this Renekton can be. Tang Yuan trying to run away, going to find himself face-to-face with Junja. Flashes back over the wall, but now he's going to find Vampire. Here comes the rest of his backup. Gets polymorphed and cannot Realm Warp to safety. Xiaoshu claims the first and only kill of the fight as LGD mid laner lists are already going to be dealt with.
Polymorph just ruining the plans right there. They are going to pay for it with a mid lane tower, and the Atakan is going to be started up. Now, as we say, Atakan, it shreds through all of your resistances, and now the response can potentially come through from LGD. Still, they won't have Tankyuan. He has no teleport even once he does respawn. So is there actually any way to get in here as LGD?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need a pop-off from the rest of the squad. Here comes Hong, looking for the steal, gets polymorphed, but is still alive, going to be able to keep the fight going, trying to melt down this Autocon, and will secure it. Hong makes the steal, will be cut down by Gala right afterwards. Xiaoya's fallen on the opposite side as well. This fight is all JDG, but LGD, at the very least, managed to get themselves that Autocon buff.
Okay, that's something. That's something for LGD in a game that has been feeling like it's slipping out of their grasp, but more and more as the time goes on, at least they're going to be able to steal away that objective. Something that Hong's not really been able to do. His fights have not been on point so far in this series, but he's able to pull through with that one. Still, on the back end of that fight, when we take a check-in, it's going to be...
once again grouped on up here. Tang Yuan going to keep the pressure up in mid and can threaten the Realm Warp. Junja jumps over the wall, maybe a little bit too far. Public execution comes on away from Sasa to get the fight started. Here comes the drop in from Tang Yuan and Hong, but a big blast cone gonna throw them onto the wrong side of the map. Xiaoya's dead, as is Sasa, and this is just too disorganized from LGD. JDG are going to cut them down one after the other. 3-0 to JDG.
All of the healing coming through from Vampire means that the damage from LGD just does not live. I don't think Gala dying there actually changes the outcome of that fight, but it certainly doesn't help.
Tang Yuan just pumping out the damage here, gets a couple of spreads of the spell flux, but he will be melted out before too long. Does get Gala! Huge play by
Wait, the
Tang
TP,
Yuan
the
to make this
TP.
into a 1-for-1, and they're going to look for a little bit more. Sasa TP's into the back line, trying to get some redemption for starting off that last poor fight. YCX just keeping Hongq's attention.
No.
Will be finished off by one more permafrost, but Sasa is chasing him down, thrown into the egg, and walled away, actually. Might be able to get some time to get one more spell rotation off, but that is enough to get down Hongq.
And
Closer
that is
to that Flame Horizon over Sasa, and it's just been the story of the game, how dominant this Renekton has been in every lane he shows up to.
Absolutely. Mid lane tower gonna fall here, likely. One more auto attack. Okay, just no, never mind. One final shot from one of the caster minions will take it down. So that's going to be that extra level of safety taken away from LGD. Currently looking to try to get a little pick onto Junjia. He's just going to be able to flash away, though, in the prison. Not going to come on through. That could be a key flash away from Junjia that JDG needed to get themselves involved in this Baron. It's already down to half health. It's flying in.
Grand Starfall Hong
What?
just throws himself into the fray, and he's out of there in an instant. Sasa picked off by Xiaoshu on the opposite side. I mean, LGD just gave this one to him. I don't know what to tell you.
I didn't expect that. What?
Yeah, Xiaoyu's down too. I don't know. I don't know where sending it. Bloxer, LGD have lost. They've lost everything.
Yeah, the Nexus will be included in everything very soon. You are correct on that one. What? But why? Yes,
it's a great question,
game,
my friend.
I don't listen. That you should know that as Hong and not be flying in with the Grand Starfall completely unhelped by the rest of your team. Maybe it's a miscommunication error where he thought everybody else had said we're going in and then kind of got left out to dry. I don't know that friends around him would have really helped though.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's the same thing that lost them that previous fight around the Dragon, right? That one, Sasa pulls the trigger too early, and this time it's Hong. They're just desynced on all of these gap closers to put themselves into the fray. I mean, Tangon doesn't even realm warp in that last brawl, and now JDG, Baron at their backs, massive gold lead as well. They're just rampaging through the base, taking whatever they want. YCX sectioned away by Hongq's wall. Big bursts of damage from the Flash Frost, gonna put that Renata down below half HP. Xiaoshu flashes in, gets onto Xiaoya, bailout, gives him a second health bar that's gone just as fast, and Xiaoshu is an absolute monster in the front line in this fight, cutting through each and every member of LGD. Over onto Vampire. Sasa finally manages to make a trade, but this game is done and dusted. Ace for Vampire to JDG as they look to close out game number 2 and put themselves on match point.
One game away now for a JDG IG finals here in the 2025 Demacia Cup. What a game this has been out of JDG. They really got control of it early on and never let it go.
You're so reliant on the Nautilus to get into that fight. I mean, depth charge should never knock up anybody the entire game, right? That's that's the assumption that Tang Yuan is operating on. Just keep this Sivir safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Potential gank right here. Junjia gonna come on in.
Oh, no. YCX goes through the magical journey and finds himself face-to-face with Junjia, who will happily pick up a freebie. Participate in said party. Hong is still level 5. Junjia in the same category. YCX kind of leading their charge forward here. Gets the electrocute proc on a Vampire. Stun. Gets the stun into the wall as well. Hong is in range. Does not win the smite fight. It goes the way of Junjia. But what about the follow-up fight? Damage still getting pumped into Vampire. He's at about half HP.
No.
Mega Inferno Bomb comes over the wall. Xiaoyu going to be able to shield it, but it gets thrown back in by the set.
With the grubs, LGD do take them slightly faster, but you're losing out onto tower plating mid lane. You're losing out onto tower plating bot lane, and this is a problem we've been seeing out of LGD. It wasn't exposed by the likes of the weaker teams like AL, but JDG are just using the macro decisions of LGD against them.
Oh, Hongq taking some turret shots there. I don't think it's going to make a difference, and he will have the execute to pick up first turret. Will be traded by LGD in pretty short order, though. That's the power of the Ziggs. Is the difference between stop the stacking from JDG as soon as they can and keep Xiaoya safe in this fight. Here's the first test of how well these teams are going to interact in the team fights. YCX going to get caught out on the side, gets hooked on in, but Hong just going to take that as an opportunity to engage on the Vampire. Sasa basically one-shots him as Xiaoshu pulls Hong out to safety, but Tempered Fate connects on it too. Xiaoshu forced to jump back away. Sasa falling lower and lower, able to get away, but Junjia chomps down onto him, and somehow Xiaoya is cut off from the rest of the team and gets chomped down the very very same. LGD lose 2 members in trade for Vampire.
And they're able to pick themselves up. The Dragon as well are LGD and maybe could get a pick onto Gala. Yup, that's just going to be the Dark Binding. Goodbye to him. And so that ends up actually being a 2-for-2 overall. They're going to be able to step up to save this tower, though. Tanguan decides yes.
Tanguan feeling safe here. Oh, the non-bow! As Satchel Charge pushes both members out of the way of the dredge line, but still, Hongq's got the damage to finish off Tanguan. He's going to get traded on as the turret shots find their mark.
Over the wall. Okay, we're not going to watch the end of that, but going over the wall there, it resulted in a 1-for-1, so obviously wasn't bad in the end. This could be bad.
What a combo there from Hongq. YCX able to get himself out of danger in time, but the Mega Inferno Bomb just dodged away from by YCX, but he gets hit by one more bouncing bomb. Too many threats to deal with. But it's LGD who are going to be the ones to start up on it first. Hongq actually making his way down towards the bottom, so it will be a 4v4 over the objective, or so we believe. Sasa getting some combat started with Hongq there, as it looks like much the same is happening up on the top side, but Hongq at risk of getting solo killed. Sasa takes him down. Meanwhile, the Rift Herald falls the way of LGD. Tanguan and Xiaoya have their fight line set up, but look at that damage coming through onto Hong. He's going to fall down in an instant, and YCX is going to have to bail out with the magical journey. Sasa's solo kill, though, makes this an LGD favored play all day long, baby.
Absolutely. The fact that they're able to just about limp away is going to be massive. You do lose a single member, not going to be the end to miss it there. Oui.
Yeah, the Dragon going to get worked on here by Hong. They will be able to finish it on off Q, and just barely manages to stay alive for now, but needs to avoid the last couple shots. Does do so, but JDG, they've bought the time, and Gala about to pick up a solo inner turret. This is a fat chunk of gold.
It really is. Using a tier 2, it keeps on happening.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of gold into Gala. The thing is, it is onto Gala, who is in a bit of a tough-to-play game, right? He's the lower range, though. Redemption to try to top himself back off as Xiaoshu coming in on the flank. Will get spotted by Xiaoya. Xiaoya caught by the entire team, cut off from the rest of everybody else. Junja going to get worked on, but he pops the subjugate and will be able to stay alive. First member down is the Sivir. Xiaoya already out of here. They try to chain CC onto Gala. They will be able to finish him off, but Junja able to get a second kill for his efforts. Sasa in a 1 versus 3 over inside the Otacon pit, and that is not a fight that he's going to win, but Tanguan is still showing up and representing as he manages to execute the opposing team's jungler. Sasa trying to keep the fight going will finally be cut down by Xiaoshu, and now it is up to Hong and Tanguan to try to win this 2 versus 3, or at the very least stop the Otacon from going down. Xiaoshu will find one. Xiaoshu goes in onto both. Tanguan going to be able to immune it with the black shield, keeping Xiaoshu perhaps further up than he'd like to be. Hongq continuing to rain through bombs, and everybody just says we don't want any more of this and tries to back on away.
And that has taken so long that Xiaoya and YCX are going to respawn and head back out onto the map once again. Same thing for the JDG members that had fallen down, but it should at least be this Drake going over to LGD. It's messy, it's bloody, it's a bit of a weird one, but in the end, LGD, they actually come out with the objective.
And
themselves a catch onto Junja, but who cares? Xiaoya has already died. Still, both of these teams potentially just gonna go for round 2. Most of the ultis have come back up and available, so this one should be another big brawl right here. No flank here for Sasa, though. This is a straight-up fight.
Yeah, he's just walking his way through Xiaoshu, and Xiaoshu is making him feel it, but they do manage to connect a binding on a Vampire, and that means Vampire's done for. Smite fight over the Otacon up next, an early smite from Junja gives it right over to Hong, and LGD are now rocking the Otacon. Big redemption across all 5 members. It's Xiaoshu up in the front line, getting worked on. Big counter-strike across 3, locks down Gala and Hongq, but the turnaround damage onto Sasa is too much, and Xiaoshu is somehow staying alive in a 1 versus 3. Now he moves forward onto Hong, and the rest of LGD have got to try to cut their losses and get the hell out of here. But Hongq has finished another member in the form of Hong.
Wait, I'm not sure why Gala decided to go for that, but hey, I kind of respect it. Hang on. Picture in picture. This is just going to be the Baron
Tempered Fate stopping the Baron, who's at half HP. JDG trying to secure it for themselves. YCX is the only one here. Here come the reinforcements, but the Baron's falling lower and lower. 2K, 1K, smited down by Junja, and JDG get the Baron buff. Now Xiaoshu looking for the engage on the opposite side, but a last whisper has been picked up for Xiaoya. Back through the magical journey to get himself back with the rest of the team, and that means that there's no more fight to be had. JDG commit highway robbery, and they're wearing purple.
This is just a crazy game, back and forth. The pace has really picked up right here in JDG. They're going to be moving on to this tier 2 tower in the mid lane. You've at least got Sasa pushing bot lane, so you've not got multiple lanes coming through. JDD, they won't be able to push fully forwards and grab themselves this tower, but they're just going to keep the pressure up and high.
Another binding.
Wait.
Now they're going to full send it on to Xiaoshu. They think they can finish him off. He falls down to about a quarter HP, and now he's basically out of the fight, but Hong going to be in the same category. Sasa TP's in, and these boomerang blades are being felt as they bounced over to Vampire, and we're able to take him to the ground. Xiaoshu now in the all-out form, going to get bound once again. Lands a big and Tofo strike through 3, but Hong will
be able... They had an inventory. They decide to keep pushing on forwards, and it wasn't small item breakpoints that they had on that reset. You have got that full death cap now completed onto Honkyu that he didn't have previously.
Oh!
Tangyuan's just dead. Tangyuan is very dead. Not exactly the place he wanted to be.
You sure can. And that's what we're going to be trying to see. How much untargetability can be obtained there. You got the Tempered Fate to help you out. Xiaoya going to be forced on back here, trying to kite this one out. Xiaoshu going to be once again taking the brunt of the damage, and they're just going to choose to full send it onto him. Tempered Fate lands on a 2. Xiaoshu left out all alone for quite a bit of time, and Sasa throws himself in. He thinks he can finish off Gala, but he's taking too much damage on the opposite side, has to go into the stasis, and Xiaoya was knocked back into the team. It's Hongkyu with the satchel charge, once again being the difference maker. Picks off Xiaoya, and the rest of LGD will crumble around him. JDG with 4.
They're going to punch their ticket right here into the finals. There's so very little that LGD can do. YCX going on his own little magical journey just to buy a little bit of extra time, but it will not matter in the end. The push is happening straight on through the mid lane. They don't need minion waves. They've got themselves a Ziggs. And it's one last desperate play out of LGD that's going to spell their doom.
10 seconds on Xiaoya, but it's just going to fall too fast. Trundle plus Ziggs doing what you pick them to do. The Nexus is exposed. Xiaoya is too little and too late. JDG will clean sweep this series and get themselves a date in finals with IG tomorrow.